What do hold-down clamps have to do with Starship's upcoming orbital test flight, and why do they play an important role during liftoff? Let me explain it to you. Hello and welcome back to Alex SpaceX Talks, today with another episode of my SpaceX ABC-Video series, Letter H for hold-down clamps. In this video we are going to talk about how exactly our Starship will be propelled to orbit on top of its super heavy booster and why our notorious hold-down clamps play a vital role in it. Once all the necessary testing activities with our Starship and super heavy prototype have been duly accomplished, it is time to finally get ready for the orbital test flight, which means that Starship will be stacked on top of super heavy. Both prototypes will then be fully fueled with the necessary propellant, meaning liquid methane and liquid oxygen. The total combined weight of a fully stacked and fueled Starship and Super Heavy will be roughly 5,000 tons. This is an enormous amount which is lasting on top of the orbital launch mount's shoulders. How on earth can the launch pad hold such a weight, and what happens during liftoff? This is where our 20 hold-down clamps come into play. Before placing Super Heavy on the launch mount, the hold-down clamps will extract. Then the booster will be carefully mounted on the clamps and later Starship will be placed on top of them. If you divide the total weight of a fully fueled Starship and Super Heavy through the 20 clamps, then each clamp needs to withstand a total weight of 250 tons. That is just crazy to say the least. Because SpaceX moves on very cautiously with reaching orbit, those clamps have been properly and successfully tested with a so-called testing rig. Always 2 pairs of clamps in a row. So, good news! All clamps are still up and running and ready for the orbital test flight. Now let's have a look at what happens during liftoff. The fully stacked and fueled Starship and Super Heavy rests on top of the 20 clamps. Almost instantly after ignition of the 33 Raptor engines, all clamps will retract and our Starship and Super Heavy will roar to the skies. The clamps will then flip back as soon as there is another liftoff in the pipeline. You see, those clamps need to be working flawlessly for the orbital test flight to work. If they do, then it might be a success. For me, it is still incredible to believe that they can hold such a massive weight. Let's just hope that the clamps will fulfill their duty and that of course everything during the orbital test flight works out as planned. Because remember what Elon said in an interview with the everyday astronaut Tim Dodd?
Like basically, actually, to be totally frank, if it takes off without blowing up the blowing up the stand, the stage 0, which is much harder to replace than the booster, that would be a victory. Please do not blow up on the stand.
But we SpaceX enthusiasts are of course optimists and are always, at least trying to, think positive. So the clamps will hold, they will do their job, and no, Starship and Super Heavy won't blow up on the stand. Well, that was all for today folks. I hope that you've all enjoyed this episode. If you want to see more of my ABC video series, then just sit back, relax and watch the upcoming playlist at the end of this episode. In the meantime, I wish you a wonderful week and see you soon in one of my next videos. Ciao!